Mehab, the tale of the woman who chose not to remarry after her husband's death. Once upon a time, in a certain district of a country, there lived a man who had a daughter. When the daughter was married, her husband eventually passed away. The father, wishing to arrange another marriage for her, discussed this with her. Upon hearing this, the daughter said to her mother, "If it were meant for me to be with another man in this life, then my first husband would not have died and we would still be together. If there is a fate that must lead me to another husband, it is likely that he too would die. Therefore, this matter should be stopped." Her mother, surprised by her words, relayed this to the father, who responded, "I am already old and time is running short. What will you do afterward in this world?" Despite his concerns, he still wished to find her another husband. The daughter then said to her parents, "Consider the swallows that build nests and have young ones. If a male swallow is taken and killed, the female swallow may be marked and released. Then, when the spring comes, if she brings back another male, you may find me a husband. Even if a creature loses its mate, it does not take another. Surely humans have greater hearts than animals." Her parents thought her reasoning sound, so they caught a swallow, killed the male, and tied a red thread around the neck of the female before releasing her. When spring arrived, the female swallow returned alone, still wearing the thread around her neck. She flew away without having built a nest or laid eggs. Observing this, the parents realized the truth of their daughter's words and decided against finding her another husband. The daughter then expressed her feelings in a poem. Perhaps the colors of the sky reflect their sorrow. Swallows are two and cannot be separated by men. This story reflects how the hearts of women in ancient times were often so devoted. It suggests that modern women may not share the same sentiments. It is said that even swallows without a mate do not produce offspring, which makes their return even more poignant. Thus, this tale has been passed down through the years. The tale of the woman who transformed into a bow and flew away. Once upon a time, in a certain district of a country, there lived a man whose wife was exceptionally beautiful and delicate. The husband, deeply in love, found it hard to be apart from her. One night, while they were asleep, he dreamt that his beloved wife said to him, "Though I say we shall live together, I must go to a distant place suddenly. You will not see me again, but I will leave you something to remember me by." Upon waking, the man was startled to find his wife missing. He searched nearby, but found nothing. "How strange," he thought. "She was not here to begin with." Then he noticed a bow standing by his pillow. He wondered, could this be what she meant by her parting gift? He hoped his wife might return, but she did not. Despite his yearning and sorrow, he felt helpless. Perhaps this is the work of some spirit, he thought, feeling frightened. Nevertheless, he resolved to keep the bow close, taking it in hand and stroking it day and night, consumed by longing for his wife. As the months passed, the bow suddenly transformed into a white bird and flew away, heading south. The man, astonished, followed it into the clouds until he reached the land of Ki. There, he saw the bird transform back into a human. Realizing it was no ordinary creature, he returned home. While reflecting on his experience, he composed a poem. In the morning light, as the river flows, what sound do the waters make as they wander, drifting along? This poem is unlike more contemporary works, as asamoyu refers to the time when one eats in the morning, and itsusayamusaya alludes to the hunting fields. The poem may not be easily understood by all. Though the tale seems fantastical and disconnected from reality, it has been preserved in ancient texts and shared throughout the ages. Thus, this story has been passed down. The tale of the nun at Fujiō Temple and the transfer of the Hachiman shrine. Once upon a time, during the era of Tenryaku, there was a temple called Fujiō-ji, located to the east of the mountains of Awata in the northern part of the Yamashina district. To the south of this temple, there was a separate hall where an elderly nun resided. She was affluent and had been living comfortably for many years. From her youth, the nun had served Hachiman and regularly visited the shrine. In her heart, she thought, "Having dedicated myself to the great Bodhisattva for many years, I wish to transfer the Bodhisattva to a place nearby where I can worship and revere him constantly." Thus, she chose a site nearby, built a treasure hall, and adorned it exquisitely, to honor the Bodhisattva. The nun also wished to hold the same annual ceremony on the 15th of August that was traditionally conducted at the main shrine, known as the Release of Life ceremony. This ceremony was based on the Bodhisattva's vows. She resolved to perform the Release of Life ceremony on that date at her temple as well, conducting various ceremonies throughout the year leading up to the main event. The rituals were no different from those at the main shrine, and she invited numerous monks, providing them with splendid music and dance. Since she was already wealthy, the offerings to the monks and the rewards for the musicians were plentiful. Therefore, her ceremony was equal to that of the main shrine. Year after year, as time passed, the ceremony at the main shrine began to decline, overshadowed by the splendor of the nuns' ceremony. The offerings became scarce, and dancers and musicians increasingly competed to participate in the Release of Life ceremony at Awataguchi, causing the main shrine ceremony to lose prominence. The monks and priests at the main shrine lamented this situation and conferred among themselves. They decided to send an envoy to the nun at Awataguchi, saying, "The 15th of August is the date on which the great Bodhisattva's vow has been honored since ancient times. It is not appropriate for you to conduct your ceremony on this day. Since you are holding the Release of Life ceremony on that date, it resembles the cancellation of our long-standing ceremony. Therefore, we request that you do not conduct your ceremony on the 15th and instead choose another date." The nun replied, "The Release of Life ceremony, based on the Bodhisattva's vows, is to be held on the 15th of August. Since my ceremony also venerates the Bodhisattva, it should equally take place on that day. There is no reason to conduct it on another date." When the envoy returned and conveyed the nun's words, the priests and monks were greatly angered. They decided, "We must go to the new shrine immediately, destroy the treasure hall where the nun worships, and take the sacred body back to the main shrine for safekeeping." A group of priests and attendants gathered and headed towards the Awataguchi shrine. Without hesitation, they demolished the nun's treasure hall and took the sacred body back to the main shrine, placing it in the protection of the Kokokuji temple. The sacred body now resides at Kokokuji, where it continues to be venerated with renewed efficacy. After this, the Release of Life ceremony at Awataguchi ceased altogether. The nun, having not made a public announcement regarding her ceremonies, could not lodge any complaints. However, the nun was slandered by the world. People claimed if the main shrine had asked for the ceremony to be conducted on another date, they should have been able to hold it as they wished. It was unfair for the main shrine to impose such strictness and not allow any flexibility. Perhaps this was due to the nature of their character. While proclaiming to venerate the Bodhisattva, they competed over a ceremony that had been held for ages, which the Bodhisattva may have regarded as unworthy. Afterwards, the Release of Life ceremony at the main shrine became even more elaborate, and it has remained so to this day. Thus, this tale has been passed down through the ages. The Tale of the Great Bridge and the Saint of Toba. Once upon a time, there was a large bridge in the village of Toba that spanned the Katsura River. This bridge had existed since ancient times but had fallen into disrepair, rendering it unusable for crossing. At that time, a saint lamented the destruction of the bridge and the inability of people to cross the river. To assist travelers, he gathered people from various places and, using his wisdom, helped them to reconstruct the bridge. After the bridge was rebuilt, many of those who had contributed remained, so the saint decided to hold a grand ceremony of offerings, relying on the strength of the villagers and the support of those who had helped. For the ceremony, he invited a certain master known as Gashgek. The invited monks prepared offerings and invited 100 monks to participate. Renowned monks from Daizanji and Mitsuiji temples were all included. Dancers and musicians from Tang and Korea, all dressed in Tang-style garments, also participated. People of various ranks from the capital contributed to the ceremony, preparing a stage, a performance area, and a tent for the monks, all adorned with exquisite decorations and 2 large drums. On the day of the event, people from all ranks in the capital came to listen to the ceremony. The following text is missing. The tale of the return to secular life of Ajarin Tankei. Once upon a time, during the reign of Kik, there was a monk named Tankei Ajarin. He was a disciple of the great master Jikaku Daishi. Well versed in the teachings of Shingon and knowledgeable in both inner and outer scholarly paths, he was also exceptionally skilled in various arts. While serving both publicly and privately, Tankei was summoned by Lord Chujin during a time of unusual circumstances to pray for him. After he prayed, the Lord's health improved significantly. However, while he was still present, a young woman appeared before him, and upon seeing her, Tankei felt a deep stir of desire. He secretly engaged in conversation with her, and they soon became intimate. Although he tried to conceal this affair, word of it eventually spread. Tankei had been devoutly serving Fudo, and one night he dreamt that Fudo spoke to him, saying, "You have relied solely on me, and I shall protect you. However, due to your past life's connections, you will fall in love with the daughter of a certain man named Tlanskchak in Chash County, and will live as husband and wife." When he awoke from this dream, he felt troubled. Sorrowfully, Tankei lamented, "Why must I fall for a woman? I must seek out the girl you showed me in the dream and kill her to find peace." With this resolve, he set off alone to the land indicated in his dream. Upon arriving, he inquired about a girl who matched the description, and indeed found someone who fit the bill. Joyfully, he approached the house to observe. There, in the garden, he saw a 10-year-old girl playing. As he observed from the south side of the house, a maid came out and he asked, "Who is that girl playing?" The maid replied, "She is the sole daughter of this house." Upon hearing this, Tankei was elated, and he left for the day. The next day, he returned to the garden, and the girl came out to play just as she had before. At that moment, there was no one else around. With joy in his heart, Tankei ran towards her, captured her, and cut her throat. No one was aware of this deed, and he thought, "I will flee before anyone finds out," and he escaped back to the capital. Reflecting on his actions, he thought, "Now that I have done this, it is strange that I should fall for a woman whom I never expected." While embracing her, he noticed a large scar on her neck that had been burned into the flesh. He asked, "What is this scar?" The girl replied, "I am from Sek's country, the daughter of a man named Sek. When I was young, I was playing in my yard when an unknown person captured me and cut my throat. My family later found me, but my whereabouts were unknown. Afterward, someone burned the scar into me. It is by a strange fate that I have come to this place." Upon hearing this, Tankei felt both amazed and sorrowful. Realizing the depth of their shared destiny, he became distressed at the tragic circumstances, and he lamented to the girl about Fudomyu's warning, which touched her heart as well. Thus, they lived as husband and wife for many years. Eventually, Tankei's conduct became notorious, and Lord Chujin decreed, "Tankei the monk has fallen into immoral conduct, which is unfit for a monk." Despite his mastery in both inner and outer teachings, this cannot be overlooked. He should promptly return to secular life and serve the public. Thus, he was returned to lay status and took the name Kofusuke. His family name was Takamuka. He was later promoted to the 5th rank and served the public diligently. This Kofusuke was a man of great talent, and he served with competence. It is said that even after returning to lay life, Kofusuke had a deep understanding of the secret teachings of Shingon. At Gokurakuji Temple, there were wooden statues of the two realms whose positions had been incorrectly placed for a long time. Someone remarked, "Who will be able to restore them?" They called various Shingon monks to fix them, but despite numerous discussions, no one was able to do so. Hearing this, Kofusuke went to Gokurakuji to see the two realms. He exclaimed, "Indeed, all the positions are mixed up." Taking his staff, he said, "This Buddha should be here, and that Buddha should be over there." Surprisingly, when he pointed to the statues with his staff, the statues moved on their own to the positions he indicated, without any human touch. Many witnesses were present. They said Kofusuke must go to Gokurakuji to restore the Buddha's positions, and as word spread, it reached many worthy individuals. Everyone who witnessed the miraculous positioning of the Buddhas wept in admiration. Thus, it is told that Kofusuke became renowned for his actions concerning the paths of both inner and outer teachings.